A constitution is a set of fundamental legal political rules that are binding on everyone in the state, including ordinary lawmaking institutions. These rules are concerned with the structure and operation of government institutions, political principles, and citizen rights. They are based on widespread public legitimacy and are more challenging to change than ordinary laws. The Constitution lays down the national goals of a country, such as democracy, secularism, socialism, and national integration. It guarantees several rights and provisions for individuals or groups of people, ensuring their well-being and dignity. Examples of most basic rights protected by the Constitution include the right to life, freedom, property, and the right to participate freely in the democratic system.
The Constitution is important because it serves as an embodiment of the rules of a political or social organization, laying down the base of the nation for smooth functioning. It forms the basic structure of any government, governing its people and governmental bodies, and when foreign interactions occur by international organizations.
The evolution of the Philippine Constitution. Philippines has had 6 constitutions since the proclamation of independence on June 12, 1898.
In 1899, the Malolos Constitution, which is the first Philippine Constitution and the first Republican Constitution in Asia, was drafted and adopted by the First Philippine Republic, which lasted from 1899 to 1901. The first Organic Act was the Philippine Organic Act of 1902, which was provided for a Philippine Assembly that was composed of Filipino citizens. The second Organic Act was the Philippine Autonomy Act of 1916, which included the first pledge of Philippine independence. In 1934, the United States Congress passed the Philippine Independence Act. The 1934 Constitutional Convention was finished on February 8, 1935. This constitution was submitted to the President of the United States for certification on March 25, 1935.
The Revolutionary Congress was requested on July 18, 1898 and was convened on September 15, 1898 by Emilio Aguinaldo.
These are the accomplishments of the Malolos Congress. First, the Declaration of Philippine Independence held on Kawit, Cavite on June 12, 1898. Second, established Universidad Literatura de Filipinas and other schools. Third, on June 12, 1899, the Malolos Congress declared war on the United States.
The Constitution established a democratic republican with 3 branches, which is the executive, legislative, and judicial, and a change of state and church.
The first Philippine Republic was established in 1899 in Malolos, Bulacan, with Emilio Aguinaldo as president.
The Constitution was read in a military parade followed. Prime Minister Apolinario Mabini was elected, with Teodoro Sandico serving as Interior Cabinet Secretary.
Article 3. Sovereignty is solely in the hands of the people. Article 19 emphasizing that no Filipino should be hindered from fully exercising their civil and political rights.
Article 5. The respect of all religions, freedom, and equality, as well as the separation of church and state.
It ensures that individuals have the right to practice their religion without discrimination and that the government remains neutral and independent from religious institutions.
The Constitution establishes a government authority, responsibilities, and people's rights in the Philippines, which gained independence in U.S. rule in 1901 through Jones Law and Philippine Bill of 1902.
The Hare House Cutting Bill divided the Philippine legislature, leading to the Taling-Smock-Duffy Act, approved by President Roosevelt in 1934, establishing July 4 as Philippine Independence Day. The Taling-Smock-Duffy Act established a constitutional committee for American-style legislation, while the 1935 Constitution granted voting rights to males 21 above and later modeled Philippine administration after the U.S.
The validity of President Ferdinand Marcos' governance under the 1973 Philippine Constitution was challenged by 130 members of the committee that produced it just a week before a national referendum on constitutional revisions. Former President Diosdado Macapagal, chairman of the convention that crafted the Constitution, asserted that the Constitution was wrongly ratified and no legal authority. Marcos did not immediately respond, and the reconvening of the convention was labeled as a nonsense with Information Ministry. The challenge aimed to cast doubt on proposed revisions establishing a strong presidency. The legal basis for the challenge argued that the 1935 Constitution was reinstated when martial law was lifted in January, rendering the 1973 Constitution invalid.
The Philippines has been plagued by corruption and scandal since independence. President Ramon Magsaysay, Carlos Garcia, and Diosdado Macapagal successfully stabilized the country, implemented domestic reforms, and strengthened ties with the U.S. and Asia. Ferdinand Marcos, the first president to do so, proclaimed martial law in 1972 and exploited the stalled Constitutional Assembly to rule by decree. Despite the 1973 Constitution's replacement, Marcos continued to rule by fiat, suppressing dissent and causing domestic and international resentment.
The 1987 Philippine Constitution, adopted by President Corazon C. Aquino, was a significant legal document that marked the country's highest law. The 1973 Constitution was never adopted due to the opposition from then President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., who had to resort to general elections to amend the Constitution.
The proceedings surrounding the drafting of the 1987 Philippine Constitution were fraught with conflict, with members engaging in heated debates on various issues such as the death penalty, economic policies, land reform, form of government, and the retention of American military bases in Clark and Subic. A national plebiscite was held on February 2, 1987, to vote for the ratification of the proposed Constitution of the Republic with the ordinance appended thereto. The results of the 1987 plebiscite were determined by the Commission on Elections based on returns from 83,288 precincts and 21,785,216 votes cast throughout the Philippines. Aquino announced the results of the plebiscite and declared the 1987 Philippine Constitution adopted on February 11, 1987, through Proclamation No. 58. On the same day, the Constitution went into effect. Lino Broca, a filmmaker known for documenting socio-economic realities, was a member of the CONCOM but left the sessions due to intense debates and disapprovals of key measures. Despite the Constitution's clear intent to institutionalize democracy, equality, and grounds for decentralization and economic growth, the Philippines continues to suffer from unequal development, with most economic and political activity focused in Metro Manila. Service delivery is viewed as unresponsive, and conflict, especially in Mindanao, has continued to present challenges for peace and prosperity. Thus, the persistence of these challenges suggests that the 1987 Constitution has failed to achieve its goals. If so, does that failure lie in the design of the Constitution and the institutions it establishes, or in its implementation?
In conclusion, the Constitution is an essential document for a country, serving as the spine of the nation and ensuring its rules and provisions are followed by every citizen.